Good day. It's been a while. I've been super busy. I did want to take a look at the GitHub Spark technical preview and do an overview of it. I have requested access to the tool myself, have not been granted access yet, but I made a flowchart here just to show at a high level all of the different features or the main features of the GitHub Spark. I find tools like this to be very interesting and also a prediction of what is to come in the future, whether it's 6 months or a year or however long it takes. I just see tools like this multiplying a lot, and they're very powerful and can save a lot of time and make developing applications fun for a lot more people. So we go from low code to no code to now AI code. And that's what I see this tool is being an AI coded software generator. So what are the main features here? We have micro apps, which is what they call Sparks, hence the name. We have the NL-based tool chain and a managed runtime environment. So that means it's serverless. It's also fast and easy to use and fun for people who maybe don't always write software. And as it becomes more advanced, being able to create applications and deploy them very quickly. So you can do that in minutes, not hours, not days, not weeks. And as this tool matures, and assuming it goes into production, I could see some really awesome things being done with this tool. So what is GitHub Spark? Well, it comes from the GitHub Next program, which is where GitHub is investigating the future of software development. And if I just scroll down here a little ways, you can see the previous research areas and whether or not they are prototypes or if they became products, like Copilot for Docs, GPT-4 with Calc, Copilot for pull requests, Copilot for CLI, and so forth. So a lot of these things that were research have become actual products, and there's a lot of them. So GitHub Spark is up at the top of the list here, just released a few days ago, and it is a technical preview. Let's take a look at the diagram again briefly, and I will be just walking through the web page that they have about these so we can take a look and see what's being said and what's available at this point in the technical preview. There's interactive previews, revision variants, so you can go back and look at your previous versions of your code or system, an automatic history, and a model selection. There are a bunch of different models that you can select from when you're prompting the AI. And then the managed runtime environment. I think that's important also. It's deployment-free hosting, so it's really no hassles to get your system up and running. You can change the theme of your application, and also it has a option for persistent data storage. So depending on what you're trying to do with your application, that's built in, and an integrated model prompting. So let's go ahead and take a look at the GitHub Spark page. What are they saying here? Can we enable anyone to create or adapt software for themselves using AI and a fully managed runtime? Well, I think the answer is yes, because they've already done it. It is a technical preview at this point, and if you want to try it, you can go to this URL here, and there is a button here, technical preview. It will ask you to sign up. You have to just agree to some terms, and then they just say they will be allowing more people in as time goes on. Hopefully I'll get access to it soon, and then I can go ahead and actually build some applications with it. They go on to ask a couple questions here. How can they make personalizing software as easy as personalizing their dev environment, and then enable those around us to do the same? Not because that should be necessary, but because it could be fun. So GitHub Spark is an AI-powered tool for creating and sharing micro apps, or Sparks, which can be tailored to your exact needs and preferences based on the current set of options they give. They are directly usable from your desktop and mobile devices without needing to write or deploy any code. And it enables this through the combination of 3 tightly integrated components. The NL-based editor allows easily describing your ideas and then refining them over time. A managed runtime environment, so it hosts your Spark or your program and provides them access to data storage, theming, and large language models. And it's a PWA enabled dashboard which lets you manage and launch your Sparks from anywhere. And additionally, GitHub Spark allows you to share your Sparks with others and control whether they get read or write permissions. They can then choose to favorite the Spark and use it directly, or remix it in order to further adapt it to their preferences. So, like personalization. And this is a video. They have a couple videos here on this page that you can watch. I believe they're all from GitHub. This shows the basically home page of it, and how right here you can choose like the different model that you want to use. And so the video just goes through and shows building an application and prompting it to do different things to your application. Iterate in your own words. It's building like a flashcard application. And over here on the left is where you can see your different iterations to see what was going on with them at that point in time. Sprinkle AI into your apps. Here's the theming, where you can change the accent color, the border radius, the scale, if you want it to be light mode, dark mode, or automatic. And then down here is a button for data, so you can access some of those features. So that's basically at a high level how it works. You can go look up these other videos if you want to see it in more action. But I'm just going to keep going through here the rest of this page and taking a look at what is going on with this GitHub Spark. So it subscribes to the Unix philosophy for apps, where software can be unapologetic about doing one thing and doing it well, specifically for you and the duration of time that it's useful. So micro doesn't refer to the size of the app's value, but rather the size of its intended feature complexity. Below here are some pictures that their team made during the process of creating the GitHub Spark. So they made like life management tools, learning aids, silly animations, and news clients. The common thread across them is they all look and feel exactly how the creator wanted them to. And I would say exactly how the creator wanted them to based on what options were available in this tool. So you can't just do anything. So they're just showing some different screenshots of these applications that were developed. An app for tracking a weekly karaoke night along with the status of each invited guest. An app for searching for cities by name and then using an LLM to generate a fun TLDR description of it. And then here is a custom Hacker News client that shows the top 20 posts and uses an LLM to summarize the comment threads. This, to me, is one of the more interesting uses of the technology. Finding information, summarizing it, putting it into an application, and deploying it all with a couple of mouse clicks. What's next? The NL-based tool chain. When creating an app, you have to know what you want and not just the general idea, but also the exact set of features, detailed interaction behaviors, and the overall look and feel of it. Unfortunately, this can get quite complicated and may be overwhelming enough to prevent some from even trying, which is exactly the problem they're looking to solve. GitHub Spark mitigates this by enabling you to start with a simple idea and then allowing complexity to slowly emerge through the assisted exploration. In particular, its NL-based editor is designed to make forward progress feel easy and playful, using 4 core iteration capabilities: interactive previews, revision variants, automatic history, and model selection. So when you type an NL expression into GitHub Spark, it doesn't just generate code, it immediately runs and displays it via an interactive preview. This app-centric feedback loop allows you to specify as little or as much detail as you want, and then iterate as you visually learn more about your intent. Revision variants. So over here on the left side, there's like these little icons you can click on, and you can optionally request a set of variants. This will generate 3 to 6 different versions of your request, each with subtle yet meaningful deviations. And since you might know you want a feature but don't quite know how it should look or behave, it can be helpful to get ideas that inform and expand on your thinking, like an AI thought partner. That could save a lot of time and energy by just asking for variants. Automatic history. As you iterate on a Spark, every revision is automatically saved and can be restored in a single click. This allows you to explore ideas and variants without worrying about losing any progress. And more importantly, without requiring you to manage version control yourself. This enables like curiosity-driven development, where you can have an idea, try it out, and without any fear of negative consequences of messing up your application. So I can see that becoming, again, very interesting feature when it's more fully developed. They said here, while creating GitHub Spark, they found that they naturally share new ideas with each other and then immediately look at the history to see how they made it. So it can be a learning tool also. Model selection. When you create or revise a Spark, you can choose from one of 4 AI models: Claude Sonnet 3.5, GPT-4o, O1 Preview, or O1 Mini. So you can try an idea. If you don't get what you expected, you can undo it and try again with an entirely different model. I think that's really cool also, using AI to try out the different models and see what it can do for you. And the history tracks which model you use for each revision, which allows you to see how your Spark evolves over time. Just shows the drop down with your options. Manage runtime. I think this is very important also, and a huge time saving feature for tools like this or other ones in the future. So it's app centric, not code centric, because it doesn't allow you to see or edit the code, but it does. But because it's designed for creating apps that are meant to be seen, felt, and used, as opposed to simply generating code and then expecting you to do something with it, like build it, deploy it, provision a database, and all the other detailed things that it can take to get an application up and running in the real world. It enables this by complementing its tool chain with a managed runtime environment that's built on 4 core capabilities: deployment-free hosting, themable design system, persistent data storage, and integrated model prompting. So here we see the deployment-free hosting. Whenever you create or revise a Spark, the changes are automatically deployed and can be run and installed on your desktop, tablet, or mobile device via a PWA. In this sense, GitHub Spark is kind of like a micro app cloud, which collapses the act of creating, deploying, and using software into a single gesture, expressing your ideas through natural language. And that was kind of like what I was saying on my diagram here, going from low code, which is writing some code, to no code, which is basically like dragging and dropping things on a screen that's generating code, to now just talking in natural language to AI to have it generate the code and have it ready to deploy, all with very, very little effort. Here is a view of your dashboard of Sparks, and then opening one on your phone. And here is the themable design system that I showed briefly in their video. You can see how you can change accent colors, the border radius, scale, appearance. And then at the bottom you can see the buttons for iterate, history, and theme. And then the persistent data storage. Whether you're making a to-do list, a gardening planner, a tic-tac-toe game, most interesting apps needs to store data, and the GitHub Spark runtime has you covered by providing a managed key value store and automatically knowing when to use it. Additionally, GitHub Spark provides a data editor which lets you easily see and edit the data your Spark is using. That way you have full control over any state, but without needing to worry about any of the details. So I think that's really awesome and another huge time-saving feature, and look forward to seeing this developed in other areas. I think we're just about at the end here. The integrated model prompting. The GitHub Spark runtime is integrated with the GitHub models. That's another feature you can learn about. And they have a lot of models available and some new ones as of their most recent announcements, and allows you to add generative AI features to your Sparks without any knowledge of LLMs, like summarizing a document, generating stories for a bedtime app. Additionally, it provides a prompt editor which lets you see the prompts that GitHub Spark generates and enables you to tweak them if needed without needing to edit any code. Shows what they're talking about there, viewing the AI prompts that your Spark is using. As they said, that was a lot, but in order for GitHub Spark to enable the aspirations that they have, reducing the cost of app creation to 0, we felt like this tool chain and runtime were absolutely necessary, and we think that users are going to love the way that it feels. I think this is probably the most important part. What's next? As a technical preview, the GitHub Spark is still very early and has a long list of to-dos, but over the next few months they're looking forward to admitting users off the wait list, and I look forward to being able to try it out with some new ideas. There's also an FAQ page, which I can open that up. And they have a Discord server if you want to join that. But in closing here, they said, if you're curious about what things are at the top of their mind, you can expect to see them exploring in these directions. Number 1, expanding the collaboration modalities, like a public gallery, allowing users to perform a semantic merge of changes that someone else made in a fork of their Spark, like multiplayer. Expanding the editor surface, providing an X-ray mode that allows summarizing and adjusting precise behaviors of the app. Number 3, expanding the runtime environment, more built-in components, which would be really interesting. Better integration with third-party services, that would be very useful too. And enabling file storage and vector search. And lots of other cool stuff they haven't thought of. So I think it's a really interesting tool, and you should sign up for it and experiment with it. And I will make another video someday once, and assuming I get allowed into the GitHub Spark. I thank you for stopping by and checking this out. Have yourself a great day.